and 40s. Fevered work to uncover the atom's secrets continued throughout the early years of the 20th century, as scientists across Europe made many important breakthroughs. By 1932, American physicist James Chadwick made his Nobel-winning discovery of the neutron, the final missing piece of the puzzle. With Chadwick's discovery, the atom's structure had been unlocked. An atom consists of a nucleus, a central region of protons and neutrons, circled by electrons. The atomic age had truly begun. Several years later, in 1939, physicists Lise Meitner, Otto Frisch, and Niels Bohr determined that when an atom nucleus splits and creates new nuclei, a process called nuclear fission, it releases vast amounts of energy, and that a fission chain reaction was possible. The news brought with it the theory that such a chain reaction could potentially be harnessed to create a limitless supply of clean energy for ships, planes, factories, and homes, or unleashed from a weapon of unfathomable destructive force. Just 2 days before World War II began, Bohr and John Wheeler published a paper proposing that fission would work better in an environment where a moderator was introduced to slow the speed of neutrons moving within an atom, thus giving them a greater chance to collide and split away from one another. As the dangers of radioactive products became more well known and their civilian popularity collapsed, the desperation and urgency of World War II brought about other remarkable advances in the field. Britain was initially the country most devoted to unlocking the secrets of a fission weapon. Germany had a nuclear program, but it focused on power reactor development. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, America, which had previously concentrated on nuclear naval propulsion, began its own serious fission research, applying vast resources to the development of an atomic bomb. Within a year, the world's first nuclear reactor, Chicago Pile 1, was built at the University of Chicago as part of America's Manhattan Project, supervised by Nobel laureate for physics Enrico Fermi. The reactor, famously described by Fermi as a crude pile of black bricks and wooden timbers, first went critical, achieved a self-sustaining chain reaction on December 2, 1942. Using graphite as its moderator, the reactor had neither a radiation shield nor a cooling system of any kind. It was a massive and reckless risk by Fermi, who had to convince his colleagues that his calculations were accurate enough to rule out an explosion. Joseph Stalin learned that the United States, Britain, and Germany were all pursuing fission after a physicist named Georgy Flerov, returning from the front lines, noticed all research on nuclear physics had disappeared from the newly published international science journals. The young man, who now has an artificial chemical element named after him, flerovium, realized the articles had become classified and wrote a letter to Stalin in which he stressed the significance of their absence. Build the uranium bomb without delay. The dictator took notice and devoted more resources towards the potential of fission energy. He instructed prominent Russian scientist Igor Kurchatov to focus on coordinating espionage information on the Manhattan Project and to begin surreptitious research into what would be necessary for the Soviets to build a bomb. To do this in absolute secrecy, Kurchatov established a new laboratory hidden away in Moscow's wooded outskirts. The Allied forces declared victory over Germany on May 8, 1945, and America turned its attention to Japan. Meanwhile, Kurchatov had made rapid progress but was still behind the Americans, who, under Robert Oppenheimer, successfully tested the first atomic device at 05-29-21 on July 16, 1945, near Alamogordo, New Mexico. As this was the first time a weapon of such devastating potential had been tested and the consequences were unproven, Fermi offered to take wagers from the physicists and military personnel present as to whether the bomb would ignite the atmosphere, and, if it did, would it only destroy the state or the entire planet. Codenamed Trinity, the blast dug a crater 1,200 feet in diameter and produced temperatures of tens of millions of degrees Fahrenheit. Frightened by what he had witnessed, physicist George Kistya